Plug talk. I go to kid fool. I just met the plug. Get what? Look, I just met the plug and he say he got them bags for the low. Look, I just met the plug and he say he got them bags for the low. I just met the plug and he say he got them bags for the low. Look, I just met the plug and he say he got them bags for the low. I just met the plug and he say that he the lifeline. I'm the type to get it, fuck a handout, I'ma get mine. I'ma get some money, kick a door, eat the punchline. My plug got the bag, I purchased for and he gon' front five.
And I just met the boss of the east side. Told me we can get right. If I get it that exotic, we be rich overnight. We go by the real rich EA, east side where they don't play. They get them gone by the pound every motherfucking day.
All right,
That's a go.
that's a go.
Yo, welcome to Plug Talk 4, Peace and Blessings. I'm your host, I be the Lifeline, my wonderful host
Carmen, you know the vibes.
with 5 ends.
You're not gonna let that go.
Mm-mm.
You're not letting the 5 ends thing go.
I think it's fire, it's kind of funny. 5 ends is a new
It's
nickname.
unique. It's unique, so no one else have it. You know.
Yeah,
We go through this every episode.
yeah, that you getting on my clothes and everything. Like, you're all blue.
Well,
Word.
today I didn't say nothing.
Nah, you let me
You
slide
got
it.
the really neutral
Basic.
colors. Yeah, I'm
Neutral
never gonna
color.
complain about black. I like black. It's a good color.
Alright, cool. I might wear nothing but black on this motherfucker from here on out.
See what I do.
What we on today, Carmen?
So today, first of all, I want to say I came across a video, I believe it was on TikTok, where a girl was talking about culture and how she feels like she has a right being a Black American, so to speak. She feels like she has a right to say, hey, this culture does not represent me, and I'm actually going to say I denounce and look down on this culture.
What culture specifically?
Just Black culture that is represented, like maybe within the media or even just within your everyday life, how you see Black people interact with the world.
Can you be more specific?
Just like the twerking, you know, the following behind the celebrities. Ooh, that was me. I was trying to get it out. Thank you. Just like the promoting the violence, the drug usage, you know, just all the things that are not advantageous to our community or our culture, right? You have like the men telling the younger kids to do drugs essentially, and they're like, these kids are even more suicidal, you know, and I just think that it definitely needs to be a light shined on how perverse our culture has become, you know, and how it has been infiltrated, and this is not really our culture. So I think that it's pretty, like, it's some truth to what that young lady is saying about, like, hey, this does not represent me, like, this is not all of us, and when you have certain people acting a certain way, it affects you. Like, you might not be doing anything, but you have the police on you thinking you sell drugs. Why? Because of how people that look like you are acting.
Because I'm Black and my hat's real low. Do I look like a mind reader, sir? I don't know.
I'm just saying, you know, and I'm not to say that, you know, the police and stuff like that, they don't have their own agenda. That's not to take away from that. But what I'm saying is, you know, if we act a certain way, you know, maybe we can get further. And not to bow down to anybody, but I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be twerking at the red light with our friends. You know, that's it.
Shit, let me chime in, man. How do I want to address this? All right, I'm gonna say I think it's a time and place for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to entertainment, period, whether we talking damn near movies nowadays, sitcoms that we see, and the music that we see, which are all controlled by a certain group of people, and I think it's an agenda. Of course, there's people that follow what's trendy. You know what I'm saying? It's people that's going to do it. We see the spread of gang culture is heightened in the last 20 years when this wasn't most people's real. Like me growing up, I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. There was no gangs. You know what I'm saying? Like, we laughed at motherfuckers that even talked about gang shit. Like, nigga, we getting money. Like, bro, what is you talking about? Like, gang. Fuck. But nowadays in that city, it's gang culture there. I think that's been spread through music, entertainment. I don't think our whole culture is that way, but I think it has a heavy influence on our youth.
Exactly, which is the future of our culture, right?
Absolutely.
Right, so if this is what they're seeing and they're thinking and accepting it and thinking it's okay, you can see by the children and what they're doing, you know?
Yeah,
and most of them can't read, you know? So it's like, what do we do about it? Do we keep accepting people who are acting like degenerates, or do we, you know, speak up and say, hey, I don't care if you guys attack me, this is what it is. Like, you know, we're tired of seeing it, we're done, and you are not going to continue to take the mind of the youth.
I mean, if we feel that way, we got to show it through action. Like, we don't have to consume the shit. We don't have to support the shit.
Yeah.
We don't have to go to the concerts. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to watch none of their videos. We don't have to do any of that. So I think it's more so based on where your priorities are and who you are, because we can't convince everybody how to run their household. You know, that to me, that's not realistic. However, I think nothing will change, though, in our culture until the adults of right now figure out how to coexist with each other. And I'm talking about the men amongst men, the women amongst women, and then the men and the women together. If that's not the focal point, then we have no foundation for the youth to come up in. We're going to have a repeated cycle of a bunch of single-parent households, and most of the time those households are elements of struggle, which are going to lead to the same things we're seeing today, over and over again.
So in the video that we watched, the girl, she says, these are not rappers, they're cappers. And I can't unhear it, you know, like, you want to be a capper? Oh, that's cute. You know, like, I can't unhear it. And it's just like, do you think that these cappers hold some level of responsibility to the things that they're putting out or pushing out?
No, I don't. Like, I remember the early day of rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was plain and clear to us. These are not role models. These are not people that you should look up to. I think the confusion comes in when the rap gang started making a lot of money, when it grew. So now you look at these dudes as a level of some type of business success. It's been confused that these are businessmen. These are not businessmen. Most of them are under contract and then up under record labels they don't own. So they're not role models, and I don't think they owe the community no responsibility. They're no different than an actor, man. If that motherfucker plays a house nigga 50 times in a row, he's just playing a role. We should not take it serious. We should not look at this man and be like, that's what he really does in real life. No. He probably goes home and he's a regular motherfucker, but he's doing what he got to do for a paycheck. So I don't think they should be held accountable. We should be held accountable.
So let me just ask you this, since you brought up the actor thing.
Mm-hmm.
So would you agree that most people and children that watch TV and they see a person acting a role, that they're aware that they're acting and that it's not like real? Would you agree?
Are you asking me, do people think that?
Like, do you, like, when children watch TV and they see actors on TV, which they're called actors, don't they understand that this is not real typically? So typically,
They should.
you know, like, you know, I can agree, like, movies like Scarface probably made, you know, had an influence on certain people, or,
Hell yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
But What-
New Jack City.
Right. So the movies probably had an influence on a certain people, but just probably because people can more relate to it. But when you have music that went from like being relatable to you speaking your experience to them now telling you like, hey, I'm cool, I do Molly and Percocets, I think we should hold some level of responsibility on the people that's producing certain things. It's like okay, so Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, any of them, Sweetie, all of them. Usually black people, they have promoting McDonald's and Taco Bell and Popeyes. Why is that? Because they know that these things are unhealthy for you, and guess who they want to consume it?
Do you really think that the faces they're using to sell these products know this shit and are fully aware of this shit, or are they just doing it because they sponsored paycheck?
I mean, I think that you hold a certain level of responsibility, especially when you have the means to get educated about certain things, when you have the money and the resources. I think now that puts a certain level of responsibility on you to either enlighten or educate yourself, or, you know, kind of take some responsibility to the things that you're doing. Like, you can't, hey,
You don't
say,
think that's
hey.
asking too much?
No, I don't. I think that's actually very small.
So if I had children, who's more responsible of what my children hear and how my children take it? The person who's making the bullshit, or the person who's playing the bullshit for them?
See, you said who's more responsible, which means that they're still both responsible, right? So, yeah, one might be more responsible than the other, but they still both need to hold accountability in the things that they're doing, regardless. You know, you can't say that, hey, I'm just playing a role, you know, even though I haven't made all these people turn and do drugs or turn and go to a street life because of a role that I was playing. Like, oh, it's just a role.
I don't think people turn to the streets because of what they see on TV. I think people turn to the streets because of their circumstances. Now, I think what they see on TV or what they hear in music influences it, but I don't think they turn to it because of that. Usually their environment and the fact that it's a large percentage of us that grow up in poverty, then before you get a job at 16 at McDonald's, if your lights is off, your mama using drugs, and you ain't got no food in the fridge, you're going to resort to other means to try to bring a difference or a change to that. Like, I had a few niggas I grew up with that was selling dope at like 12, 13 years old.
But why do you think that they turn to that? Because
they
they
mama was
glorify that
doing
lifestyle,
it.
right?
Nah, they didn't glorify it. They seen it in their households.
It was glorified though.
Nah,
That lifestyle
mama would
was
be
like,
back there in the room with 5 people.
Tell me what a dope boy car looked like.
Nowadays?
Back then, what does a dope boy car look
Back
like?
then, it was Chevys.
What? On some 20 poles or something? That sounds kind of glorified.
I was before the
this
24.
is I'm the cool guy. I sell drugs. I got a Chevy on 20 poles. All the bitches
Yeah.
like me. It seems a little glorified, right? You know, where they're idolizing something. It's all coming from some type of idol, whether it's a celebrity,
So
whether
before
it's
you
a
see it on
local.
TV, though, Kwame, I want you to be aware. Most people see it in real life.
Exactly.
So
I
that
agree.
means that art is, you know, they say art imitates life, but that's just one of those examples where life is imitating art. So they're seeing the same things they're going to see in music videos. They're seeing this in the real world. You're going to see that. You can hit Crenshaw on Sundays, you're going to see a million low riders out there. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, motherfuckers ride the big wheels. You're going to see that shit. You're going to see shit sitting up high. You know what I'm saying? South is the same way. You're going to see shit sitting up high.
But can you agree that it is certain people in this world that want to see Black people in the conditions that they are in, and they
Absolutely.
use people like in the music industry? Like, growing up, we all heard of the Illuminati and people selling their souls, but everybody's still running towards the music industry, right? Because we're good as long as we're entertaining white people, but become a high-powered lawyer and see how good you be. You know, become somebody that's talking some shit,
Some real
a
shit.
Black Panther or something that's talking some shit. See how good you be. But as long as you're hee and ha, and that's what Michael Jackson said. Oh, they thought I was just a singing nigga. They thought I was just boop bop.
Nah,
bop.
all 50% of
Now I
songs
own their
published
shit. I was back there thinking. you know, and
That's
that's
what-
exactly what he's like. That's what he's saying. They thought that we're here just to entertain them, like, you know,
Nah,
that's what they think that we're here
I
for.
firmly agree, right? I don't even believe, like, you mentioned earlier, they're not rappers, they're cappers, right? So what I'm saying is, I don't believe these motherfuckers be doing what they say they do in their music. I believe they're entertainers and they're doing it for entertainment purpose. I also believe that there's an agenda. So if they don't create a certain type of music, they won't get signed. If they don't push these agendas, they won't be successful. And I understand that there's a hidden hand. And as a matter of fact, if y'all read books, check out the book, The Hidden Hand, because it explains all of this shit from the government down to the music industry. But anyway, there is a hidden hand that is only, that, like, you can't believe, as talented as we are as a culture of people, that our best talents is Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, Sweetie.
Right.
You can't believe that, you know what I'm saying, Lil Durk and fucking any of these young boys are the best talented artists that are out here. They're not. But they are the artists that are willing to push an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no problem with pushing whatever agenda they're told to push. Now, I don't think they should be held accountable as far as they have a responsibility to us. They don't. I think we should hold them accountable and not support their shit. And
I agree.
yeah, I don't.
But that's
because
holding them accountable. They need to be held accountable too.
yeah, but we don't have the Tupacs no more. We don't have Ice Cubes no more in this hip hop game. They look at all them niggas like old heads. So the things that they're trying to do doesn't register to black people. Man, we talked about this before. Like Ice Cube came out with a plan that he wanted black people to support. This is just the last time we voted for presidency when Biden and Trump were going against each other. He presented that package to both parties. Black people didn't care. They didn't care about what he was demanding damn near reparations for all of us and then plans moving forward. Business, certain money allowed for us to do business. And Donald Trump said, I'll sit down and look over it. And he said he couldn't implement everything he had in that. It was called the Plan for Black America is what Ice Cube was trying to do. Mm-hmm. So Donald Trump couldn't implement everything he was asking for, but he took a large portion of it and he called it the Platinum Plan. And he tried to promote that to black people. They were not trying to hear it. They weren't trying to hear it. So our influence, even to our people that are older, 35, 40, 45, they're damn near influenced by the same thing the youth are today.
I mean, I heard a lady say, I think it was maybe on TikTok, I'm always scrolling one of these social media apps and I'm hearing interesting things, but she spoke about, how we don't have like grandparents anymore, right? So you know how you used to be able to take your kid, like even if you was an ain't shit mama, you could take the kid to the grandparent and the grandparent had sense, like, but it seems like nowadays, like even the grandparents are fucked up, like they have this like crazy ass ideology. They got their bodies done too. Like the grandparents are literally like
45.
They're the older version of these younger people. So it's like we don't even have grandparents that are sitting the fuck down. These motherfuckers are out just like the young people. They're out living their best life. And then if you notice that people look great these days, which I don't want to even understand how that could be, that people look so amazing these days at these ages, but
why not? Man, they say black don't crack. That's what I heard.
But back then, like, they looked older.
I think they had a lot more pressure on their hand than they had. They didn't have a choice but to grow up older. Because like when I look at my mom and dad, like my dad was 19, my mom was still in high school when she got pregnant by my dad. She was a senior. She was like 17 at the time she actually got pregnant. They were married by 21. My dad had his first house at 22. You know what I'm saying? Like, times were different. And the economy was different back then. But I just think that they were able to, no matter what career choices they made, whether it was to go to college or just get a job, I just think in that time period, you were able to get a job, you were able to get you some type of property or rent some type of property and start your family. So I just think they grew up faster. By the time they was 25, 26, they was on their third, fourth kid and actually family units at that point, participating in their community to make sure their kids grew up proper. And our economy has changed a lot, which I think has stunted a lot of people's growth and becoming adults, which is why we probably look so young, because I know a bunch of 50-year-old kids right now.
It's so
For
crazy
real.
though. Like I think that the grandmas are not grandmas that are actually giving you that real knowledge. So I think that a lot of your knowledge that you do get in this world do come from your parents, and your grandparents, so they're
Supposed to.
Right. So now I feel like people just don't have any of that. So they're just getting it from where they can. They getting it how they live. Like they just, hey, this is what's happened over here. Like most of the world agree with it. I agree with it too. Like you can sway the minds of people these days. And it's like the same how they do it with the music industry, which people like when you say, hey, are we going to hold them responsible for selling something? Yes. It's like saying if it's a slave in the house and it's a slave outside, are we going to hold the slaves in the house responsible for giving us something knowing damn well that shit was not, advantageous to us as a whole? We hold them accountable.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of like saying we're gonna hold drug dealers in our community accountable. Like,
we do.
Okay, but you can't do that with a bunch of mothers outside protesting. These niggas are ready to, by any means, they got a family to feed too. So you're talking.
But that wasn't the route. That's why we're fucked up now. That route that they took, it was the microwave route. We got the microwave as results.
For sure. But I think that we would need their participation. So hold them accountable would be like, hey, we're gonna have a sit down with them. We're gonna talk to them, and we're gonna let them know what the effect of what you're doing is actually doing to our community. Now, if you're gonna continue to do this, let's make some guidelines and some rules.
I don't think it should be like that. I think that we should operate how these other people operate.
Can we stop women from
Jewish
going?
people are not going to feed this junk into their own community. They'll feed it into other people's community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even if we were going to go sell drugs, why are we selling it in our own community? Why are we fucking ourselves over? It's like literally fighting within your own camp. Like, why would you ever give the people in your community drugs? Go sell that shit somewhere else.
I'm with you 100%. But I think it's a process to get there. It just won't happen in a snap of a finger. It's like if you're addicted to, coffee. You can't just go cold turkey. You have to calm it down and then find a replacement for it so you can get rid of the habit.
I think that even today's, like right now, I don't think it's a reason for anybody to be selling drugs. In today's,
do you know? Okay, listen, and I'm just being honest with you. I'm not justifying it. I'm not making any excuse, but the whole reason for ever selling drugs was to make money. Now, I do understand there's a lot of motherfuckers that sell drugs that's just in a way, and they just trying to figure out a way to sell one drug to go buy the drug they're going to use today. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have. We got a bunch of dope fiends that are functioning as regular adults.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I just think that in order to, if we're gonna discuss these things, right, I think we need to come up with logical solutions.
Right, but that means that we have to hold drug dealers accountable as well. Like even with gangs, like at least with gangs, they started gangs to actually help the community, right? So
and it spiraled out of control.
It is right. So for that, I can be like, okay, I understand gangs and how gangs became what they are. But when it comes to white men bringing drugs into our community and handing it over to us, and us taking it and giving it to our people, it's some type of like something that we need to hold people accountable for. Like we have to hold these people accountable because these are the things that is fucking us over, till this very day. This is why we have people like, listen, the drugs, even the illegal drugs, is what's fucking real people over. In Hollywood, the first thing they do is get them drugs. And it fucks their brain up. You see how Kanye West, as an example, he's
Have you ever seen The Wire?
I don't think I watched The Wire all the way through.
Alright, so short story real quick, right? There was a season on there where they had a black police chief, and his thing was, okay, we're going to start, he called it Little Amsterdam. So he said, you're allowed to sell drugs over here. The people who are going to come over here, we know are going to be dope fiends, drug dealers, drug users, and it's legal. You don't got to worry about no police, but you can only do it here. Do not bring that shit out here to these kids, to this community, which made a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I don't say 100% agree with the idea, but the idea puts rules and stipulations on the shit. All I'm saying to you is, as a community, if we're going to stop something to that degree, it's almost just as hard as stopping these entertainers that do this poisonous rap from doing poisonous rap knowing they're going to get a check from it. And we have to have a solution to where we can take actions and put it in our own hands and not need them to do anything, because we're just not going to support you or we're not going to buy this shit from you. Now, if we can come to terms, because I know drug dealers are not bad people, man. They really just trying to feed their family. And guess what? If a dope fiend can't get it over here, he gonna go over there. So it's always gonna be a place where people who are addicted to it, just like alcohol. Like, this is considered legal, but I've seen so many people destroy their lives and kill themselves off this shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But since it's legal, we're not looking at this like a problem. This shit's probably just as bad as any drug.
I agree that alcohol is definitely a problem.
Yeah, so
like, it's poison.
So what I'm saying is, but say they abolish this shit. For anybody who likes to drink, you're gonna figure out where to go to get it.
Right, but it's gonna be harder though for them.
That's fine. You just adding up enough money to make sure that you ain't gotta take that trip every day. You'll buy for a week or you'll buy for a month.
But you know what I was thinking? So I was having a conversation with someone and we were talking about, first we were talking about the economic gap, and then we started to talk about like Hollywood, right? So it really like hit me when this person said what they said, because we were saying like, people like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, like, first of all, when they want to destroy your reputation in Hollywood, what do? They accuse you, of sexual assault or raping a child or
some type of crime.
Yeah, or basically, usually some type of something that is like hard for you to come back from, and it kind of tarnish you, tarnish your whole reputation. So, we were talking, and it was like basically like, it's crazy because you have people like Michael Jackson that was worth how much? He was worth like $1 billion, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't have been pitching this shit.
Right.
Still
he was worth, he
sure.
had owned half of Sony when he, before he died, and he
This Is It tour, he announced that.
Right. So, with that being said, everything that he owned ended up going back in the hands of a person that he had fired a few months before. And when you think about like just that and how much money he had, and you think about all these new artists, like, where do you think they get the money from? They're not using their money. They're using Michael Jackson's money. They're using Whitney Houston's money. They're using all this money that they go ahead and keep. They disperse it back to other black people who's like, okay, you're gonna do this, okay? So don't you think that should hold some level of accountability, because they're literally just using us and they're killing the ones right in our face, or or labeling them as sex abusers or whatever they're labeling them as, and then we, like kind of what's going on with Diddy right now, we automatically just go ride their boat and we just say the worst things about our people. And then what they gonna do? They gonna fuck with Diddy, take all his money and what? Disperse it back, that same money back into somebody's hands that's willing to do their dirty work. So really, it's like, it's not even like you're not even getting any new money. It's really just the same fucking money that we see our stars earn, and they just take back, or they give you like a white wife and it goes in the hands of her, or something like that.
Diddy was a bad example, but the concept you spot on. Bill Cosby. As soon as he wanted to buy, billionaire. As soon as he wanted to buy and invest into take a majority of NBC, then he gets hit with these statutory rape allegations, and the shit was like 40, 50 years old. It's statute of limitation. That it was illegal for him to even go through that process, but they try to change the federal law and make it federal. That's not a federal case. When they want to get rid of you, they're going to get rid of you. So if we're going to support these artists, we have to support those type of situations when they're manipulating situations, or when it is a death like somebody like Michael Jackson, or even Prince for that matter, because his death was just as fuzzy as Michael Jackson's was. I think we need to be pressing the issue to make sure that we got black lawyers that are about that shit, press the issue on paperwork for everything. We want the autopsy, we want to see exactly what the cause of death was. These are the type of things that can show that there's foul play going on. And then we can start holding people, because once you know there's foul play going on, it's the same way cops bust drug dealers, the same way they bust government officials. Once you see there's foul play going on, now you got to follow the money. Now you got to look at who would benefit if Michael Jackson dies. Who benefits if Prince dies? Who benefits if Tupac dies, Biggie dies.
Right.
And then you can figure out what's going on. But I don't think the artist needs to be held accountable. If we love these artists and we fuck with them, we need to hold the people that sign their checks accountable.
I mean, they obviously need to be held accountable too, but I think that the artists that are like, okay, for me personally, like to think of like them killing Michael Jackson or Michael, because he was murdered, to think
sure.
of them
I
killing
agree.
Michael Jackson and then
Allegedly, but I agree.
taking his money and giving it to the next set of black people that are ready to push their agenda, you know, and then just like with the sex trafficking, like even with Diddy, you said it's like Diddy was a terrible example, but he's the same example as fucking Michael Jackson. As soon as he started saying them, what was it, the Deleon people, I don't know what the company was called, Diablo or whatever it was. As soon as he started going at it with these companies and saying that they were racist and he sued them, then he started having these problems. Because even with the Cassie thing, they had let it go. They didn't.
She benefited from it, and then you gotta agree to this too. If you're not talking about kids, you're talking about adults. If they agree to some horrible sexual acts, and your ass was doing this shit or a part of this relationship or a part of this group for 5+ years, it's hard for anybody to believe that you didn't sign up for it, because it doesn't take 5 years to figure out this is some bullshit I'm not with going on. You out of there immediately. So it's different when it comes to the adults, because we know that every one of these adults voluntarily played a role. It wasn't like they were taken advantage of in the same way that a child would be. It's a whole difference between them two.
I agree. No,
Yeah,
I
most of these motherfucking adults was with the bullshit already.
I don't like when
It
it
was
comes
with
to
the
like
bullshit.
people like Cassie. I definitely think
She
Cassie
was with the bullshit.
signed up for it, and
Yeah,
it
she
was
was with it.
probably more than she thought it would be. And you know,
She
how
just
you-
thought she would get a different result out of it.
No,
you know what
no,
I'm
she
saying?
thought it was more than she had to do more than what she thought she had to do.
Well, I think if she was as big as fucking, let's just say Rihanna right now, she would never said a word. But Cassie had about a one-hit wonder, about a 2-year run, and then she was nothing but Diddy's bitch.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And I think that for her that was cool, but when she realized what she had to do to stay his bitch, she was like, whoa.
When she realized she wasn't gonna get no further than his
yeah,
bitch,
yeah, exactly.
then she was like, whoa, yeah, I wanted to be
But
my
I think
own
she was
star.
okay with being just his bitch. Like you have to understand, women they care about their careers a lot. But if you got a man that's providing for you and giving you a certain lifestyle, you're okay with just being that. But the problem is that she thought she was going to get that and not have to do anything on the back end, and that's just not how it's happening in Hollywood. You know, it's they coming on the back end. They were like, all right, you want this? You ready to go from C level celebrity to a B list? You know, you want to go from C to B? Okay, this is what you got to do. And this is why you see like people's family members just dying in these horrific ways, and then now they're an A-list celebrity. You know, even with like I don't want to just be talking
No
like full
comment
conspiracy.
and no Diddy on that, but I'm gonna say this: they still aren't the people that, if we as a community or as a culture, we're gonna hold people accountable. I don't think we go to, like, they're equivalent to like the block runners, the niggas that got the little nickel sacks that sell on the block all day. They're not the supplier. So I think if we're gonna hold people accountable, we have to hold accountable the suppliers. We need to be pressing these record labels that are owned by a different group of people than us. Why are you allowing this type of music? Why are you signing these type of artists? Why are you pushing these type of agendas? You know what I'm saying? Why is this the focal point? We can press them about that. I don't think we should press the motherfucking people that might figure that they live this lifestyle for real, or they do this certain type of thing, or they don't care to act like it. Sometimes we gotta just let them be who they be, because they just trying to get a check. They just trying to get a check.
I agree with you.
How many black people do you think in slavery time, right? If they had a sign-up list, every 2 months you can sign up to be a house nigga. How many names you think would be on that list?
I mean, like I said, I agree with you.
You feel me?
However,
I'm just saying.
however, like I think that that's how you know, we understand who is like compromised and who is not compromised.
I think
And to
majority
me-
of us are compromised.
Right, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's a lot of us that's compromised, and that's why you got to hold us accountable. Because if you're going to stay over there and do that, if that's what you want and you're okay with what you're doing, then that means you're with them, you know, with us. and we need to make draw a line. Like, okay, you either there or there. Like,
I
ain't
agree,
no
but
fucking,
everybody has
ain't
some
no
people.
fucking in between. Ain't no fucking. You still
Do you
finna
think
get respect
everybody's
from us.
aware
Aware of what?
their decision making?
I think that a lot of people are like it's brainwashed. They're under like control. Like I think a lot of people just and then they're so under control where they'll defend it to the point where they'll not speak to you or be upset with you or slander
Yeah,
you
it's they strong
because
suit.
they're under a control and they refuse to think for themselves because they never had to their whole life. You never have to think for yourself. They always told you like, hey, I'm gonna give you a test, right? And on this test you got A, B, C, D. It's never like, okay, A, B, C, D. Okay, what if I had option E? What if I had the one option that was better than A, B, C, and D? Why can't I write in an option E in that be
It has
accepted?
to be presented and it has to really be there. It has to really be an option. That's why I'm telling you the first steps is we gotta embrace the love between the black man and the black woman again. Then we can work on the brothers with the brothers, the sisters with the sisters, because you'll have firm people with firm foundations that are able to guide, teach, and make sure that the next generation don't have to go through the same shit. However, moving outside of that, right, without a community base, we have no fight to fight, not even against drug dealers, not against the music, entertainment business, nothing. We have nothing to stand on. So it comes with realistic, though, expectations of where we can take it from first. And one thing about it, two things for sure. The average person out here, the average people out here can damn sure make better decisions in their life to put themselves in better positions. We can damn sure do something about our communities and start putting money back in our communities. Because I see too many people out here in Gucci, Prada. They got them $1,000 motherfucking belts. You know what I'm saying? So if we can afford to do that, damn, you telling me for every $1,000 Gucci belt you got in your motherfucking closet, why you can't put $500 in that towards something in our community, right? It would only make sense. So if we're not holding each other, the regular people, accountable, I think it's kind of far-fetched to reach some motherfuckers who got millions and billions. So even if we know some information about them, we can't do shit. They got too many people on payroll. This shit gonna get swept under the rug. So I think we gotta hold each other accountable first.
I mean, we have to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, and if the dope boys don't sell dope, until we can figure out a solution for you niggas, y'all throw a little bit in the pot every motherfucking month.
But no,
At least throw some barbecue, some shit for the kids.
No.
What do you mean?
No, that's
Talk to me,
okay.
Carmen. Why is that?
They can't sell dope to our community. They cannot do that.
Our community's gonna go. Okay, if it's not sold in our community, they're gonna go somewhere to get it.
Okay, well,
So-
that's
so-
the whole point.
Okay,
Make
so
it hard for them to get it. That's
okay,
why
that's
they
cool.
won't be getting it from
I'm
us.
with
You
you.
can go wherever you want to get the shit. You won't be getting it from us.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We won't be a part of your demise. That's what we will not do. And I think it's important to hold everybody. We have to stand on real morale. We can't just say, hey, I accept the drug dealers. I accept them. No. If you're willing to do that, what else are you willing to do? Are you going to sell us out
Hold on.
for a couple dollars? Like, what are you going to do? Because you're willing to feed your people that shit. You're willing to give poison to your people. So, like, it has to be like even with the celebrities, you're willing to pour poison into their ears and make them believe something. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna allow that shit, or
I'm
we're not
saying
gonna hold them
those are
accountable? They need
circle-
to be held accountable because these are the type of people that are dangerous and they can be paid off, and those are the worst kind of people. A person that gets paid off and do things
All
for
of
money is the worst kind of people.
Karma, all of them are like that, from the basketball players. And when we look at sports, like there's nothing wrong with that. These niggas are controlled. Have you
I
seen
know
the movie?
that. I know that.
Have you
That-
seen the movie LeBron produced House
Listen.
Party?
No.
I
know that they're controlled.
Hey,
but like
karma.
what I'm saying is I will respect a person that is homeless before I respect these motherfuckers that got all this shit because they compromised. I can't. Like you have to stand on your shit, and it's like for me personally, like when I do business with anybody, look, this is what I am, this is what I is. If it doesn't work for you, hey, no, more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with walking away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know what, I'm willing to compromise my morale to benefit you, and that's what you're doing when you're selling that shit. That's why in the old days, how grandma looked at them drug dealers. They look down on them. They didn't look at them like, oh, it's okay. No, as long as they bring it. No, even you try to bring the money to her and give it to her. What she say? Take this goddamn drug money out my goddamn house. Because that morale is low for when them people are doing that. So we have to hold them accountable. We can't make them feel like, oh, it's okay because y'all know you were broke. No, go be homeless then. Go lay on the streets before you sell that shit to your people.
I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic about it.
No,
I think
it is realistic.
That's harsh. That's worse than like prison shit and the way government enforce certain laws. I think we got to be a little bit more realistic and have like, okay, if you're at the height right now, which I think our culture is like at the height of fuckery and bullshit, you have to, like, it's just like anything else, man. If you have any addiction and it's all stripped away from you, you gotta have a calm down period. So we gotta go through a calm down period first. And then we gotta have ways to isolate the bad decision makers. And you're right, they're bad decision makers. What else would they do? We shouldn't trust them. I'm with you 100%. But realistically, we can't just boot them off the island knowing that they ain't got no other options. They're gonna rebel.
I didn't say boot them. I said hold them accountable. Like, we're not
okay,
gonna
what
look
is
at them like
accountability
it's
to
okay.
you?
Because it's not, we're not gonna say like,
Yeah,
hey.
but what we gonna do? Just preach them like it's not okay to sell drugs?
No, it's being held accountable. So when I say held accountable, like, yo, you did a certain thing. How do you feel like? Do you feel like you're accountable for that? You know what I'm saying? Cause
what does that do though?
They need to hold it, because if they don't feel like they're accountable and they feel like, hey, I will do this again, then we know where they stand.
Fine.
You know
if we limit the opportunities for them to do it, if we limit the opportunities that they can influence and sell to our youth, and we isolate these situations, now we can control the situation. You can't control anything if it's just spread out and it's everywhere. You have to bring that to one area. And then once you isolate it in one area, now you can attack it. If it's spread out, you can't attack anything. You're all over the place.
We have 50 states in the United States. We're never going to be able to bring anything to one area. So it's always going to be spread out.
No, I'm not saying bring everything to one area. Bring it to one area wherever you're at. Do you get what I'm saying?
But,
so if you're on the east side of Atlanta, right? There's a specific place you can go do this fuck shit at on the east side of Atlanta where maybe the law's not going to fuck with you as much and our community is not going to put our foot on your neck as much. But that's the only place you can do it. If we see you outside of these parameters, we on your ass. Same thing on the west side, same thing on the south side.
Where they just do drugs and party and do whatever they want to do.
Wouldn't you rather have the people that are bad decision makers making bad decisions all in the same spot?
I would rather them just...
At least that way you can start a limit. I mean, but that's not giving a solution.
The solution is not letting them do it. I don't think that's a
But
solution.
yeah, but if you just, like
that
I said,
sounds like the freaking people in Portland. They got all the drugs up there legalized. Like, you can do the shit, you know. It's cool. Just I think that's the solution, to just say, you know what, we're gonna decriminalize it. We're gonna let them do drugs. Like, that is the solution.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100 with you. Like, they've been putting us on drugs for, you know, ever since they had hospitals. So ever since they've been getting out medication, it's not like their medication cures or heals anything.
Exactly.
It dopes you up enough for your body to do what it's naturally going to do without their medication.
Right.
But most of us have been brainwashed into thinking that if something's wrong, you go to the hospital, they prescribe you something and you take it without even knowing what the fuck you're putting into your body, right?
Absolutely.
My mom and dad got a medicine cabinet, a fucking bathroom full of pills, and I'm like, yo, how in the fuck do you need this many pills when I go visit them? And then look, because it's dope, they're addicted.
No, I listen. Legal drugs, the biggest drug dealers in America are.
So I'm saying, if we're not going to hold them accountable for pushing drug pharmaceuticals on us, I think it will be fucking blasphemous for us, and also very, very how do I put it? Contradicting of us to go straight at the drug dealers on the street. And we're not going to go at the pharmaceutical and medical companies.
I have a major problem with Big Pharma.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I have a problem with them too.
So we on the same page. I'm just saying that to me, the
pharmaceutical. Yeah.
All I'm saying is the solution start at the top. You chop off the head and you kill the body. We ain't got to worry about the body. We ain't got to worry about these low level niggas if we cut off the head of what. How do these drugs get here? I don't know no niggas that's flying no planes. I don't know no niggas. Listen, I don't know no niggas flying no planes. I don't know nobody bringing no ships over this motherfucker. How is all these drugs for all 50 states, every city, every town getting here? That is a higher source. And if you don't shoot to the higher source and you just shoot at the foot, that motherfucker can get some rollerblades attached to his feet and ride now.
But if you can't get access to the highest source because you don't have the resources,
You can get access
you don't have
by
the
standing
resources
next
to
to-
get planes and all.
All
what
we
you
got-
said. You don't have access to get to the higher source. You don't
don't-
even have that. No, you don't even know who the higher source is.
Yeah.
It's to the point where you can't even identify the higher source. So what do you
We
have to do?
identified them in the
You have
90s.
to- but you can't. You
Rick
can't.
Ross out there. Yo, the CIA is behind all this shit.
Well, listen, we already know that the CIA is very corrupt, but
Okay.
it's the CIA. What is you going to do to CIA? So you have to get your soldiers in the
CIA
street, the people that you can't touch, you got to get them in order.
Okay, so
Because we can't touch them. How we going to touch them if we don't get these
if
people
we
down
are
there?
as a unit, this is what I'm saying. If we got at least 40-50% of our culture, right? Just half of our culture is seeing things as a unit and wanting to build something, then that's bigger than the CIA can ever be. That's more of a
Exactly.
threat
That's
than.
what I'm saying, but I'm saying you have to do that by holding these people who are drug dealers. We have to hold these people at the bottom
I think
accountable.
this is the only thing we see differently. If I'm gonna attack somebody, I'm not gonna attack them in their legs and feet. I'm gonna attack the upper body. I have to knock him
But
unconscious.
you're saying that, how do you attack the upper body? So how do we, as people, attack the upper body? How do we,
We
do
can't
that?
talk
We don't
about
even
that
know who it is, right?
Oh,
but we do know
no.
who's selling these drugs locally, though.
Yeah,
we do
they're
know.
not-
we
yeah,
do
but
know the people that's on the corner.
They're not gonna
selling
take
drugs.
you to the big dog because you big mama from the block.
Okay,
You know what
but
I'm
it
saying?
don't
So-
matter though. We still can hold them accountable. Like, nah, that shit ain't happening over here. Big dog tell Big Dog to get his ass over here if he wants this shit sold. I bet his ass be over there. If he don't be over there, he gonna send somebody else over there. When somebody else don't come back, I bet his ass be over there. But the thing is, we gotta hold these motherfuckers
Now we got another
accountable.
war amongst our own community again.
Hey, but
We're going backwards.
it's good
We're not
versus
moving
evil. Hey, you want to push this
Okay,
shit?
but if we gonna go
You wanna
good
push
versus
this shit?
evil, let's go with the real
Because
evil,
like,
not the
people
people
always
that's.
say, listen, they always say,
There's circumstances.
I sell drugs because I'm trying to
Yeah.
get out the hood, to
Nah,
get their ass
that's-
up out the hood.
nah, that's some
they
weird
want to,
shit.
they have to provide for their family, right? I gotta provide, and they provide for their family. Then it's like, whoa,
I was here,
but it was
Carmen.
profitable.
I was here when the crack epidemic hit. I seen things change in our communities, man. I remember from 80 to 85 how profitable we were looking. I remember how strong knit the community. I remember we used to play with this baseball team called First Day. We have a parade where we'd go through the city, walk in, and they have cars. Well, sometimes we might be waving our little flag for our team or whatever. Then we'll hop in the car and just have the flag, posted on the back of one of the pickup trucks or whatever. And our whole community would be outside that day. Mothers, fathers, if they didn't have kids participating in that, they would be outside, they would donate, they would cheer us on, they would all come to the ballpark that day to see the opening game. We had real community unity. Then 85 hit. And you seen that shit slowly start fading the fuck away. The dope beans from 85 were not kids. These were adults
Right.
that made logical decisions to say, when I get off work today, instead of having a beer, I'm gonna buy me a $10 rock.
But
I had a whole day
but
today.
that makes sense because as black people, like we have a lot of trauma, so it makes sense.
That's
to
not an
want-
excuse for bad decision making.
It's
We
not
got trauma.
an excuse.
We got trauma today,
but-
right?
but we
It's
have-
just different.
We have, but look at us today. Look what we're
We're
doing.
worse.
The same shit. We're doing the same
We're
shit.
way
doing
worse.
drugs.
We're way worse.
They're doing drugs, but what I'm saying is, still these people within our community have to be held accountable for the things that they choose to push onto their own.
Before we hold anybody else accountable, that's what you're telling
We
me, right?
we gotta listen. We gotta get ourselves right. Like we gotta it's a difference from like with Diddy. Diddy did what he did. Well, we gotta hold Diddy accountable in the way we hold Diddy accountable. We don't let white people slay Diddy how they want to slay Diddy because they gonna
If he broke the law, they gonna do it how they want to do
Exactly,
it.
but
Like they did Bill Cosby.
But we have to hold him accountable into the way that we feel like Diddy needs to be held accountable, right? So we need to learn how to hold our own people accountable, and we need to learn how to stand up for ourselves and actually take our $1 trillion that we spend and use that.
I'm with
as,
you
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? As leverage to this country. So if we actually like I said, we have to have real people that is pushing this. We can't have these people that are willing to put drugs in their own community. We can't have people like that just doing this, because you guys are willing to tarnish somebody else for the sake of yourself. And like I said, they don't just push it into their community until they get, you know, enough to be able to, like, okay, I can take care of my family now, so I'm good. No, they usually get addicted and keep doing it, and then probably themselves get addicted to the drug. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these people are not just doing it to the point of, you know, they're not just doing it to the point of, you know, I'm just trying to make sure I'm okay. I'm not trying to do this for my community. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are actually doing it, and then you seeing what they are when they do it. That's why these type of people are doing it, because they continue, and it takes over them. Some people have done it their whole life. They didn't want to change. Their whole life, this is the way they provided for themselves, because it was quick and easy, and they never wanted to do work.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm with you 100%. I just think that minimal logical, right?
Yes.
And then we're a lot more violent too, right? So we know violent.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know point of attack. We know, you know, if we're dealing with something that's stronger than us, then your best defense is to be more agile, quicker, and better hands, because you don't want this big strong thing to grab you. Mm-hmm. So all I'm saying to you is, if I'm strategically building an army based off our community right now, the first thing I'm gonna need to do is get my people to start seeing eye to eye, no matter what it is, and not judge each other by our differences, because we can use some of those people. You know what I'm saying? And all of the tape, most of the time, right? When I did gang prevention, it's hard to get a motherfucker to stop gang banging if you don't have something else to directly put them into that's going to change their lives or make their lives better. Now, because even though they be committed, they believe in you, right? 2, 3, 4 weeks in the past, ain't nothing changed in their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So now it's kind of like, well, I know you got great intentions. I know you're a good person. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Lifeline, but like, nigga, I can get this money out here gangbanging, and this shit ain't nothing but for somewhere for me to be until y'all close, and then I kind of go back to that reality again. If you don't have a answer or somewhere else to get these people isolated till they figure out how to be productive with us, then we're only creating more wars amongst our people. But the first thing we have to do is unify in some type of way. We don't need everybody. We just need the ones that are committed. You know what I'm saying? From everywhere. They feel the same way you feel, same way I feel, same way about like the girl that did the video that we was talking about today. Like, those people need to come together first, so we can come up with solutions in every city, town, you know what I'm saying, and figure out how to go about it. Because if we just go into shit blindly, like stop, we're creating ops, and then we don't have any numbers to go towards the top of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. See, that's essentially what I was trying to say. Like, yeah, we have to, well, not essentially, because you're saying that just the people that are like-minded should come together first, and then we can get the other people. But I'm saying that, yeah, the people that are like-minded should hold the people over there that are doing the shit accountable. And
we can't hold them accountable till we figure out how to be as a unit. Because right now,
no, we can't.
The first people we should hold accountable is me and you, right, for not being units, right?
Listen, we gonna get together and we gonna.
Nah, answer my question. Don't do me like that.
What?
Don't just try to talk around that shit. Yes or no? Should the people who are aware, shouldn't we be holding ourselves accountable for not being aware amongst each other? Like, we have no group for black people. Intelligent,
yeah.
The revolutionaries, where are we going to get, like, there's no group trying to gather people together like that right now, bro.
I agree. I definitely think that, yeah, we should have.
So we got to hold each other accountable first.
Yes, we should. Everybody needs to be held accountable.
Everybody first.
Yes. Everybody.
Then once we have a foundation set
up, accountability.
Yeah, then we can, once we got a unit, now we can start talking shit.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. That's exactly what I'm saying. We need to come together, and then we need to start holding people accountable. So people that are, you know, feeling a certain type of way or speaking a certain type of way, these people need to come together. And then we need to get a list of people. Like, okay, what are we about to attack, right? We're going to list it all out. And then we're just going to start going at them. Hey, drug dealers, come here. We got a problem with y'all. What y'all going to do? Cause we ready to go. If we ready to dab up this shit, you know. And
I'm
then,
getting hints of bully right now.
no, what?
So-
Wait, call it what you want. We gonna smash motherfuckers if they don't move accordingly. So, yeah.
Man, I love it, Karma. I love it, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, but in ending, like, I just think that people need to be more vocal. If anything, people definitely need to be more vocal. And when you see things that you agree with, make sure you like support it or push it, share it, like it, whatever you can do to get it more views or whatever. And actually, like, just the stuff that you see that is just not whatever, don't comment on it, don't interact with it, because they're going to show you more stuff like that. So just, interact with the things that relates to you, and share that, and use
Things
that.
you see positive, shit that is with good intent, you're
Yeah.
saying show more support to.
Yeah, so
Show
like,
more support to the real shit, y'all.
yeah, show more support to, like, 'cause a lot of people be seeing all this, but these the same people that got the Gucci Louis Prada on. Y'all can't be talking about, y'all doing this, but you want to be accepted by this group of people that you're talking about. Because for me, it's fuck them. I don't give a fuck what they talking about over there. Y'all can slander me, drag me through the fucking mud. I'm still gonna say the same fucking shit. I'm still gonna feel how I feel. You think I give a fuck? Y'all need validation. What was the shit? What was it? The validation thing. Validation is for
Fucking parking.
yeah, validation.
Parking.
Yeah, like parking. What the fuck
Validation
was
is for
it?
parking.
It was something, but it was something like that. Like
Yeah, something up. I'm with you 100%. I just think that first step would be, great minds unifying, and then when those great minds are together, I think we can come up with a master plan. I got my ideas, what I think, you got what you think, you know what I mean? But it would take for us to have a bunch of other great minds and like-minded people, and then we can focus on moving forward. But we can't do nothing without unity. We can't do nothing if we're not together. We can't do nothing if we don't support each other. We can't do nothing if we don't love each other. So I'm with you 100%. We can talk about the details at, the real nigga meeting. If you don't get a personal invite, you're not supposed to be there. But any closing words? Let's wrap this shit up.
No, I think that we need to take more action, like you said, and you know what? Like, I know someone that's starting a group for men, and these men come together, and they all like-minded men, and they, kind of go through the process with each other, and I think that's dope. So I think that I'm gonna probably start a group for women. Don't jump me, okay?
You got support for the homies. You got support.
I'm gonna start a group for women, and we're women. We can come together, and we can agree or disagree together. But it's more for the women that is like, hey, I'm fed for this society and what they're portraying us to be.
Our real sisters, our soul sisters, our Claire Huxtables.
Ain't no initiation process. You don't gotta do no rituals or no hazing. No, we ain't gonna knock you the fuck out. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just a simple conversation using your brain.
Sounds like a safe group, ladies. Y'all might want to look into that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but yeah, besides that, Carmen
With
5 ends. The real Carmen with 5 ends. That's it. Peace
Shout out to the 5 fucking ends, though. For sure.
Easy.
Y'all know how I do it, man. I don't really never had no closing words. So, kind of know the pedigree. Plug Talk 4. Peace and blessings. You ain't got to go home. You got to get the fuck out of here. We out.
Hey guys.
Bruh, I